The Seven Wonders of the Ancient World. Let me take you back to a world long past, where civilizations flourished along the banks of rivers, in the shadows of great mountains, and by the shimmering coasts of the Mediterranean Sea. Tonight, we're going to gently explore the seven wonders of the ancient world, each one a masterpiece of its time, full of mystery, grandeur, and stories, whispered through the ages. One, the Great Pyramid of Giza, Egypt, 2580 to 2560 BC. We begin our journey in the sun-drenched sands of Egypt under a sky the color of melted gold there. Standing tall against the desert winds is the Great Pyramid of Giza, the last of the seven wonders, still standing, built as a tomb for Pharaoh Khufu. This marvel is more than just a pyramid. It's a testament to the skill, ambition, and ingenuity of an ancient world. Imagine the slow and steady rhythm of laborers, their tools softly tapping against stone, the calls of overseers lost to time, the limestone stone blocks so massive that even today we wondered how they were moved with precision, stacked perfectly to create this monumental structure. At its peak, the pyramid was covered in gleaming white casing, stones reflecting the sunlight like a beacon. The pyramid was originally over 146 meters tall, though erosion and the removal of its smooth outer casing stones have reduced it to about 138 million. Today, the ancient Egyptians called it Akat Khufu, meaning Khufu horizon, highlighting its significance as a gateway to eternity. Constructing the pyramid required extraordinary planning and effort. It is estimated that more than 2 million limestone blocks were used, each weighing an average of 2.5 tons. Some stones were transported from nearby quarries, while others, such as the granite blocks used in the inner chambers, came from Awan, nearly 800 km away. Scholars believe wooden sledges lubricated with water to reduce friction were used, but the full mystery of the construction remains unsolved inside the pyramid. There are three main chambers: the king's chamber, the queen's chamber, and the subterranean chamber. The king's chamber, at the heart of the pyramid, is made of red granite and holds the remnants of Khufu sarcophagus. Above this chamber are a series of relieving chambers designed to distribute the weight of the massive stone structure. A testament to the engineers' brilliance, the Great Pyramid was not built in ideation. It was part of a larger complex, including smaller pyramids for queens' temples, causeways, and the Great Sphinx standing guard. With its mysterious gaze, the surrounding necropolis housed tombs of nobles and officials, creating a city of the dead. Although looted over centuries, the pyramid once contained treasures meant to accompany Khufu into the afterlife, gold, precious stones, and artifacts that reflected his status and beliefs. Egyptian religious texts tell us that the afterlife was seen as a continuation of earthly life but elevated to divine heights. Today, the pyramid inspires all, not just because of its size, but because of what it represents: a civilization that could dream, plan, and execute something so monumental that it defies time itself standing before it. You can almost hear the whispers of ancient priests chanting prayers, the sound of chisels shaping stone, and the collective effort of thousands working under the burning sun. To the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, 600 BC approximate next. Let's drift east to the lush and fertile lands of Mesopotamia, where the Hanging Gardens of Babylon are said to have defied the harsh desert landscape. Though scholars debate whether they ever truly existed, their legend lives on. Picture a cascading paradise of greenery where tiered terraces overflow with vibrant flowers, exotic plants and vines that trail gracefully over stone ledges. Imagine the soft trickle of water as it flows through ingenious irrigation channels, nourishing the garden and creating a soothing rhythmic sound. Historical texts describe the gardens as a marvel of engineering. If they existed, they were built using an elaborate system of pulley and chain pumps to draw water from the Euphrates River, lifting it to the topmost terraces. The constant flow of water kept the plants lush and thriving. Even in the blistering desert heat, the gardens were said to be built by King Nebuchadnezzar II for his wife Amos, who longed for the green hills and mountains of her homeland. Scholars believe the gardens, if real, would have showcased an incredible blend of nature and technology, a symbol of love, power, and ingenuity. But what did the gardens actually look like? Some accounts describe towering terraces, almost like a ziggurat each level, brimming with fragrant blue, BLS fruit trees and shaded walkways. Water cascaded from one terrace to another, creating the soothing ambience of a natural waterfall. The air was filled with the scent of roses, honeysuckle, and herbs, a sensory feast for anyone lucky enough to stroll through this paradise. Although archaeologists have searched for evidence of the gardens in Babylon, no conclusive remains have been found. Some historians believe they may have been located in Nineveh rather than Babylon, or that they were purely a poetic creation meant to symbolize the height of Mesopotamian culture. Whether fact or fable, the hanging gardens remind us of the human desire to create beauty, even in the harshest of environments. As we leave this imagined oasis behind, the soft rustle of leaves and the gentle murmur of flowing water linger in our minds. 3. The Temple of Artemis at Ephesus, Turkey. 550 BC, our next stop is the Grand Temple of Emis at Ephesus, a place of worship so magnificent that it drew pilgrims and travelers from distant lands, built in honor of Artemis, the goddess of the hunt and fertility. The temples stood as a symbol of divine beauty and architectural splendor. Picture its grand columns stretching skyward, intricately carved and polished to perfection. The marble glistens in the soft light of dawn as worshippers gather with offerings of flowers, fruit, and prayers. The temple was not only a place of worship, but also a cultural hub where poets recited their works and artists displayed their masterpieces. The temple was rebuilt several times, with the most famous reconstruction taking place around 550 BC after being destroyed in a flood. It measured over 115 m long and 55 m wide, making it one of the largest temples of the ancient world. Inside, a statue of Artemis, adorned with precious jewels, stood as the centerpiece. The temple's exterior featured a double row of columns, 127 in total, each standing 18 meters tall. Its architectural beauty lay not only in its size, but also in the intricately carved friezes and sculptures that depicted scenes from Greek mythology. The interior housed a massive statue of Emis, depicted as a many-breasted figure symbolizing fertility. Surrounding her were altars, treasures, and offerings brought by worshippers seeking her blessings for childbirth, hunting success, and agricultural prosperity. Tragically, the temple was set ablaze in 356 BC by Herostratus, a man who wanted to immortalize his name. Despite this act of destruction, its legacy endured. It was rebuilt again, but ultimately fell into ruin after being plundered and neglected over the centuries. Today, only a single column stands as a testament to its former glory. Imagine walking through its ruins, the faint scent of incense still lingering in the air, and hearing the distant echoes of prayers that once filled the great hall, the Temple of Emis, even in its absence, remains a symbol of human devotion and artistic achievement. 4. The statue of Zeus at Olympia, Greece, 435 BC. Now we find ourselves in Olympia, home to the ancient Olympic Games, and the mighty statue of Zeus, seated on his grand throne, created by the sculptor Phidias. This statue embodied the power and majesty of the king of the gods. Close your eyes and picture Zeus, draped in gold and ivory, his gaze benevolent yet commanding. His right hand holds a statue of Nike, the goddess of victory, while his left rests on a scepter, crowned with an eagle. The room is filled with the soft glow of torchlight casting shadows that dance across the intricate carvings. The statue stood 12 meters high, making it one of the largest indoor sculptures of its time. Phidias used a wooden framework covered in ivory plates for Zeus's skin and sheets of gold for his robes, creating a luminous effect. The statue was seated on a throne made of cedar wood inlaid with ebony, ivory, gold, and precious stones, a masterpiece of craftsmanship. The throne itself was decorated with carvings of mythical creatures and gods, adding to the grandeur of the setting. Above Zeus, the ceiling of the temple was adorned with paintings of constellations, as if the heavens themselves watched over the god. Visitors came from across the ancient world to stand in awe before the statue. Some believed that merely gazing upon it would grant them divine favor or wisdom. The temple was not just a religious site, but also a cultural gathering place where athletes, poets, and philosophers shared ideas. Unfortunately, after centuries of existence, the statue was destroyed during the 5th century AD, possibly in a fire or earthquake. Its materials were scattered, or lost to time, leaving behind only descriptions of its magnificence. Yet even in its absence, the image of Zeus, seated in glory, remains etched in human imagination. Imagine standing there in the quiet, hearing the murmur of prayers, the shuffle of sandal feet on the marble floor, and the distant cheers of athletes training nearby. The legacy of Zeus and Olympia lives on, reminding us of the cultural and spiritual unity that once defined this sacred place. 5. The Melem at Halicarnassus, Turkey, 350 BC. Next we travel to Halicarnassus, where a grand tomb was built for Meles, a Persian satrap, and his wife Oresia, known as the Melem. This structure was so extraordinary that it gave birth to the very word we use today to describe grand tombs. Imagine a structure rising from the ground like a beacon of elegance. Blending Greek, Egyptian, and Layan architectural styles, the Mosem stood about 45 meters tall, with a rectangular base surrounded by columns and topped with a pyramid-shaped roof. At the very peak was a grand sculpture of Meles and Oresia riding a chariot, watching over their eternal resting place. The friezes that adorned the structure depicted scenes of battles and mythological events, each carved with matte gules. Attention to detail, these reliefs told stories of gods, warriors, and mythical creatures, capturing the spirit of an era that revered art as much as war. Oresia herself oversaw the construction of the tomb after the death of Marelis. Her devotion was so profound that, according to legend, she mixed his ashes with water and drank them, symbolizing her eternal bond to him. The Melem became a symbol of both love and power, reflecting the grandeur of their rule. Inside the tomb, lavish chambers were filled with treasures, offerings, and the remains of Morelis and Amesia. The architects and sculptors who worked on it were renowned across the ancient world, making it not only a tomb, but a work of art that drew admiration from visitors for centuries, though earthquakes and invasions reduced much of the structure to ruins. Its influence on Ferrari architecture is undeniable. Imagine wandering among the remains, feeling the echoes of ancient stonemasons' chisels and the whispers of a queen mourning her beloved. Its legacy lives on in the many monumental tombs that have followed its design. 6. The Colossus of Rhodes, Greece. Now we sail across the Aegean Sea to the island of Rhodes, where the Colossus once stood proudly at the entrance to the harbour. This towering statue of the sun god Helios was constructed to celebrate a military victory, and was said to be so massive that ships sailed between its legs. The Colossus stood about 33 meters tall, making it one of the tallest statues of the ancient world. Its bronze exterior gleamed in the sunlight, reflecting on the calm waters below. Built by the sculptor Chares of Lindos, the statue took 12 years to complete and was supported by an iron and stone framework. The statue's pose has been debated by historians, but many believe it stood with one arm raised, shielding its eyes as it gazed toward the horizon. Its construction was a monumental feat, with workers forging bronze sheets and assembling them around a core of stone and iron. The creation of the Colossus wasn't just an engineering marvel, it was a symbol of RHS's resilience. The people of the island had successfully defended their city from a siege by Demetrius the Bash of Macedon, and the statue was erected as a mark of their victory and freedom. Sadly, the Colossus only stood for about 54 years before an earthquake brought it down. Even in its fallen state, the statue remained a wonder, as its remains were visited by travelers for centuries. The fragments of bronze were eventually sold off, but its legacy endured. Imagine standing at the harbor, the warm sea breeze on your skin, and looking up at the towering figure of Helios, the god of the sun. His presence symbolized the maritime strength and resilience of Rhodes, a reminder of the island's triumph over adversity. 7. The Lighthouse of Alexandria, Pharos of Alexandria, Egypt, 280 BC. Our final stop takes us back to Egypt, to the bustling port city of Alexandria. Here the Lighthouse of Alexandria once guided sailors safely to shore, its light cutting through the darkness like a beacon of hope. As we approach, we hear the gentle lapping of waves against the docks and the distant hum of traders bartering over goods. The lighthouse, made of 3 tiers, a square base, a cylindrical middle and a small tower at the top, stood over 350 feet tall, its flame visible for miles, built during the reign of Ptolemy II. It took around 20 years to complete and was considered one of the tallest man-made structures of its time. Its light was created by a large open flame reflected by polished bronze mirrors, casting its glow across the Mediterranean Sea. The lighthouse was not just a navigational aid, it was a symbol of Alexandria's role as a center of knowledge, trade, and maritime power. At its base, inscriptions honored the city's leaders and gods, while statues of Poseidon and other sea deities adorned its exterior. The design of the lighthouse was so advanced that it included winding staircases leading to the upper tiers and observation platforms. Sailors could see its light from nearly 50 kilometers away, providing guidance. Even in the most treacherous weather over the centuries, the lighthouse was damaged by earthquakes and eventually collapsed. In the 14th century, the stones from its ruins were later used to build fortifications in the city. Yet its influence on lighthouse design remains, and its legacy as a guiding light endures. Imagine standing on the shores of ancient Alexandria, watching the lighthouses glow, pierce the night, a symbol of humanity's ability to harness firestone and innovation to conquer the unknown. And so our journey, the seven wonders comes to an end like the fading glow of a sunset as you drift off to sleep. Let these stories carry you to ancient lands where wonders were built by dreamers, visionaries, and those who dared to reach for the stars, the seven wonders of the modern world. Let me take you on a journey through time, but this time we'll visit wonders that reflect humanity's creativity, resilience, and architectural brilliance in the modern era. These wonders are scattered across the globe, each telling a unique story of triumph, culture, and innovation. One, the Great Wall of China. China, built between the 7th century BC and the 16th century, and our journey begins in the misty mountains of China, where the Great Wall stretches endlessly across the rugged terrain, winding its way over hills, valleys, and plateaus. The wall, a masterpiece of engineering and human determination, was constructed to protect China from invading forces, particularly from the Mongols and other nomadic tribes of the north. Imagine standing on its ancient stones. The cool breeze carrying whispers of centuries past. The wall, once lined with watchtowers and garrison stations, was more than a defensive structure. It was a symbol of unity and national strength, stretching over 21,000 km. The wall weaves through breathtaking landscapes, from desert sands to dense forests. Each section of the wall tells its own story. The earliest segments were constructed of tamped earth and wood by the CHRW state in the 7th century. BC later dynasties like the Qin and Han expanded and reinforced the wall. However, it was during the Ming dynasty, 1368 to 138, 1644, that the wall reached its iconic form with bricks and stone fortifications designed to withstand both time and enemy attacks. Laborers, soldiers, and convicts worked tirelessly, enduring harsh conditions to complete the colossal task. Legends speak of the grief-stricken woman, Mjang, whose tears caused a portion of the wall to collapse when she mourned the death of her husband, a laborer forced to work on the wall. The wall's strategic importance lay in its watchtowers, which allowed for rapid communication using smoke signals, flags, and lanterns. In times of peace, it facilitated trade along the Silk Road, fostering cultural exchange between China and the outside world. Today, the Great Wall is a place of reflection and adventure. Visitors can explore its crumbling remote sections or walk along its restored paths near Beijing, where the distant sound of footsteps and the stunning landscape remind us of the monumental effort it took to construct this wonder of the world. To Christ the Redeemer, Brazil, completed in 1931, perched to top the Cavado mountain. Christ the Redeemer stands tall with open arms, embracing the city of Rio de Janeiro and offering a symbol of peace, unity, and faith. The statue, one of the most iconic landmarks in the world, watches over the vibrant city, the lush forests, and the azure waters. Below, the story of Christ the Redeemer began in the 1920s, when Brazilian Catholics proposed a monument to mark the centennial of Brazil's independence from Portugal, designed by Brazilian engineer Arthur de Silva Costa and sculpted by French artist Paul Landowski. The statue took 9 years to complete. Its construction was an incredible engineering feat, given the remote location and challenging terrain, standing 30 meters high with an arm span of 28 m. Christ the Redeemer is made of reinforced concrete and covered in soapstone, chosen for its durability and smooth finish. The soapstone tiles are fixed by hand, give the statue its distinct, soft grey colour that glows under sunlight and moonlight alike during construction. Workers faced treacherous conditions navigating narrow paths and steep cliffs. Materials were transported up the mountain by a specially built railway. Despite the difficulties, the statue was unveiled in 1931 and quickly became a symbol of hope and protection. The statue's location at top Cavado Mountain offers a panoramic view of Rio de Janeiro, including iconic sites like Sugarloaf Mountain and Copacabana Beach. Visitors often pause to reflect on the serenity of the place, while the distant sounds of the bustling city remind them of the contrast between human industry and divine tranquility. In 26, the statue was declared a Catholic sanctuary by Pope Benedict XVI, further solidifying its religious significance. Today it stands not only as a marvel of engineering and art, but as a symbol of unity, welcoming millions of visitors from all backgrounds to experience its message of peace. Third, Machu Picchu, Peru. Built in the 15th century, hidden high in the Andes Mountains, Machu Picchu emerges from the clouds like a lost city, frozen in time, built by the Inca Empire in the 15th century. This ancient citadel is a marvel of engineering, blending seamless with a natural landscape surrounded by lush greenery and steep cliffs. It's no wonder Machu Picchu is often called the lost city of the Inca. The site was built during the reign of the Inca Emperor Pachacuti and is believed to have served as a royal estate or religious retreat. Its location, nearly 2,500 meters above sea level, was chosen for its strategic significance, offering both protection and a connection to the sacred landscape. Machu Picchu's architecture is a testament to the Incas' advanced knowledge of construction and their ability to adapt to challenging environments. The city's terraces, used for agriculture, not only provided food, but also helped prevent soil erosion. The stones used to build its structures were precisely cut using a technique called ashlar masonry, where they fit so tightly that even a blade of grass cannot pass between them. Key structures include the Temple of the Sun, dedicated to the Inca. Sun god into its curved walls and strategic windows were designed to capture the sun's rays. During the solstice, the Intihuatana stone, believed to be an astronomical calendar, was used by priests to mark significant solar events. Machu Picchu remained unknown to the outside world until its rediscovery by American explorer Hiram Bingham in 1911. Today it continues to captivate historians, archaeologists, and travelers. As we walk among its ruins, we can imagine the sounds of rituals, the chants of priests, and the bustling life of its former inhabitants. Chichen Itza, Mexico, built between the 7th and 10th centuries, in the heart part of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, lies Chichen Itza, an ancient Mayan city that once served as a major political and economic center. The city's most iconic structure, the Pyramid of Kulan, rises majestically from the surrounding jungle, its precise geometry reflecting the Mayans' advanced understanding of astronomy and mathematics. Chichen was a hub of trade, religion, and science. Its name means at the mouth of the Well of Ita, referring to the nearby cenotes, or natural sinkholes that provided water to the city. These coats were not only vital for survival, but were also considered sacred, often used for religious ceremonies and sacrifices. The Pyramid of Kukulkan, also known as El Castillo, is an architectural marvel designed to reflect the Mayan calendar. The pyramid's 365 steps correspond to the days of the year, and during the spring and autumn equinoxes, a shadow resembling a serpent slithers down the pyramid side. This phenomenon is believed to represent the descent of Kulan, the feathered serpent deity. The city also houses the Great Ball Court, where ritualistic ball games were played. The stakes were often high, as the losing team was sometimes sacrificed to the god. The acoustics of the ball court are remarkable. A whisper from one end can be heard clearly on the other, a testament to Mayan engineering. Nearby, the Temple of the Warriors, surrounded by RS of carved columns, and the sacred cenote reveal the city's religious and cultural significance. Artifacts recovered from the cenote include jewelry, pottery, and human remains offering insights into the spiritual life of the ancient Mir. As we walk among the ruins, the echo of distant drums and the chants of priests seem to linger in the air, reminding us of a civilization whose knowledge and rituals were deeply intertwined with the cosmos. 5. The Roman Colosseum, Italy, completed in 80, a symbol of ancient Rome's grandeur. The Colosseum stands as a testament to the power and spectacle of the Roman Empire, built between 70 and 80 under the Emperor Vespasian and Titus. This iconic amphitheater could hold up to 880,000 spectators who gathered to witness gladiatorial combat, animal hunts, and elaborate public spectacles. The Colosseum's design was revolutionary for its time. Its elliptical shape allowed for efficient crowd control, and its tiered seating ensured that every spectator had a clear view of the arena. The outer walls, made of travertine stone, have endured earthquakes, fires, and the passage of time. Beneath the arena floor lies the Hippium, a network of tunnels and chambers where gladiators and wild animals were held before being released into the arena. Trapdoors and pulley systems allowed for dramatic entrances, adding to the spectacle. Gladiatorial games were more than entertainment. They were a demonstration of Roman power and discipline. Emperors used them to gain public favor and display their wealth. Events range from one-on-one combat to large-scale battles involving hundreds of participants. Today, the Colosseum is a place of reflection. Visitors sit among its ancient stones, contemplating the contrast between its brutal past and its enduring beauty as a symbol of human achievement. 6. The Taj Mahal, India, completed in 1648, a symbol of eternal love and architectural beauty. The Taj Mahal rises gracefully from the banks of the Yamuna River in Agra, India, built by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan in memory of his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal. This white marble melum is a masterpiece of Islamic architecture and a monument to undying devotion. The Taj Mahal's construction involved over 20,000 artisans and spanned more than 20 years. Marble from Makkana, Rajasthan, and precious stones from across Asia were used to create its intricate inlays. The Petrodura technique, where semi-precious stones like jasper, jade, and turquoise are embedded into the marble, gives the monument its dazzling effect. Inside the mausoleum, the katops of Mumtaz Mahal and Shah Jahan are surrounded by marble screens adorned with floral designs and calligraphy. The walls are inscribed with verses from the Quran, emphasizing themes of paradise and eternity. The surrounding gardens, designed in the Persian Chug style, symbolize heaven on earth. The reflecting pools, flowering trees, and fountains create a serene atmosphere, making it a place of peace and contemplation. Today, the Taj Mahal is not only a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but also a symbol of love that transcends time. Drawing millions of visitors who come to marvel at its beauty, our final stop takes us to the ancient city of Petra, hidden within the rugged cliffs of southern Jordan, known as the Rose City for its pink-hued sandstone cliffs. Petra was once the thriving capital of the Naban kingdom, a hub of trade and culture. The Nains were skilled traders who controlled key trade routes connecting Arabia, Egypt, and the Mediterranean. They became wealthy through commerce in spices, silk and incense, and their prosperity is reflected in the grandeur of Petra's architecture. As we pass through the thick and narrow gorge flanked by towering cliffs, anticipation builds until we reach the treasury. Alas, its facade carved directly into the rock features, Corinthian columns, statues, and intricate reliefs. The treasury's purpose remains debated, with theories ranging from it being a royal tomb to a treasury for storing riches beyond the treasury. Petra reveals its sprawling complex of tombs, temples, and amphitheaters. The monastery at Dia, perched high on a hill, rivals the treasury in grandeur and offers breathtaking views of the surrounding desert. Petra's water management system, which included channels, cisterns, and dams, was essential for its survival in the arid desert. The city thrived for centuries before declining due to shifting trade routes and natural disasters. Rediscovered by Swiss explorer Johann Ludwig Burckhardt in 1812, it has since captivated the world. As we leave Petra, the sound of the desert wind and the glow of the setting sun remind us of the timeless beauty and ingenuity that have carved this wonder into history. And so our journey through these 7 wonders of the modern world comes to an end as you drift off to sleep. Let these stories of human ingenuity and passion carry you to distant lands where wonders were built by those who dared to dream beyond the horizon.